This is a Volkswagen 5-cylinder inside of my BMW E30. This car started its life out as a $1,500 rolling shell that I found in a field in Ohio, and it sat there for 10 years. And this is a $200 Volkswagen 5-cylinder engine, also known as the 07K, that I bought from a junkyard for $200. 200 bucks, 200 buckaroos, baby. And we decided to stuff it into a BMW E30. You might ask yourself, why? Why the hell not? And eventually this poor $200 Volkswagen engine is gonna get one of these bad boys. This is a G30 660 turbo, and this poor thing's gonna make like 400, 500 wheel horsepower. It's gonna be awesome. But we still got a lot of work to do before we get to that point. In the last video, we did a bunch of work, but the main takeaway from the last video is we pulled out the fuel pump and realized that this thing still had 10 to 15-year-old fuel still in the gas tank. It was atrocious and it reeked. So in this video, we're gonna pull the gas tank, clean it out, work on the fuel system, work on the electrical side of things, and see if we can get this thing to run by the end of the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around to the end to see if this thing will run. All right, now on to the video.
All right, hey guys, I forgot my tripod and my microphone because I just wanted to come over here and see how hard it was gonna be to pull the tank on this. Looking at it, everything is already gone. So like usually there's drive shaft, exhaust, heat shields, a bunch of that stuff. And since I bought this car as like a complete roller, all of that stuff is already gone. So I think really all I gotta do is take off the 4 bolts that hold the tank to the chassis and then just drop it. I still don't know if I wanna buy a new tank or wash this one out and try to use this. A new tank is like, not like a new tank, but like a new used tank's like 200 bucks, but I guess like new, voice crack. I guess like new tanks have baffling issues and can have, you know, fuel starvation and fuel slosh issues to be determined, but let's see how easy it is to get this tank out.
All right, well, that was way easier than I ever would have expected it to be. There we go, fuel tank's out. It was like 5 or 6 bolts and then a hose, and then I just dropped it out. So that wasn't so bad. Now I gotta take it back to the house and I'm gonna wash it out and then soak it in some like rust remover type stuff. And hopefully that does the trick with the inside. If not, we'll just buy a new metal tank. All right, well, we're gonna start by spraying out this tank just to see what kind of filth and gunk I'm able to get. Clean it out, and then I'll probably pour some sort of parts cleaner or rust dissolver or something inside this tank because it is metal. Try not to go hog wild on spending money because at that point I could have just bought a new tank. So we'll see if we can try to fix this one up. If not, then I might just do a fuel cell and a surge tank and call it good. Well, I will do a surge tank regardless, and you might be worried like, oh, you're gonna pour water in there and then it's gonna rust. Well, it's already rusty. It's so rusty, so it literally doesn't matter. Oh, so far the water's coming out clear. Okay, maybe it's not as gross as I thought. I mean, it's gross still, but still does not smell good, I can tell you that much. This is taking quite a long time. I'm just gonna fill it all the way up and just kind of run it out. It is like a 14-gallon, 15-gallon tank, something like that. It's picking up a bunch of debris, so that's good. Wow, it's really not as murky as I thought it was gonna be. I mean, it's pretty gross. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. There's all the rust. So that's what is inside my tank. Just gross, crusty, ugh. So here I have 2 gallons of Blaster Metal Rescue Rust Remover Bath. Typically you put this like in a container and then you put a part in it. I'm just gonna pour this all in the tank and see if it does anything. I guess let's find out. So it says on the instructions for light rust up to 2 hours, bad rust 8 hours, and then heavy rust 24 to 48 hours. I'll come back in a few hours and check it out, but I think I'm just gonna let it sit overnight. Periodically, I'll turn it over and let like all the stuff kind of get all over the tank. I don't know, it's worth a shot. All right, so the rust remover bath has sat inside the tank for well over 48 hours. So now we're gonna dump it out and see what it looks like. Bottle says it'll turn black once it works. Let's dump it out and see if it's black. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, crusty, gross. Heck yeah. Just looking at it, I mean, it looks cleaner. That's cool. I'd call that a success. There's still stuff in here though. By stuff, I mean like big chunks of rust or something. I can hear it kind of swash around when I move it around. So that's gonna be difficult to get out. So the tank is cleaned out as well as I could get it. Now we're gonna put it back up into the car. This will be fun. Yeah. Hopefully this is a decent camera angle for you guys, if you can see me. Not really sure how I'm gonna do this, but it's gonna get up there somehow. Gas tank's back in, that sucked, but cool, it's there, and I never want to take that back out again. Can you guys tell me which one's the old one and which one's the new one? I think this is the new one. I'm just kidding. So we got a new fuel pump assembly, sending unit, fuel hanger, whatever you want to call it. And it came with a fuel pump, so I'm just gonna drop this in there, and if it's not enough fuel for the 07K, I have a Walbro 450 to throw in it. Super easy to pull this in and out, so I'm not super worried about it. So let's drop this into the tank. And you might be thinking, Brett, it would have been a lot easier to run the fuel lines along the tank with the tank out of the car. You'd be correct, but fuel lines don't show up until tomorrow, and I wanted to get the tank in, so at least I could be somewhat productive. So that's why. Make my life harder and easier sometimes? I don't know, but let's throw this in there. Hey, but now that the tank's cleaned out, it's not nearly as stinky, so that's cool. Okay, it's in there. It's a little bit different from the original one. What do you expect though? It was $50 off of eBay. Oh well. Cool, that's in. So now we just gotta wait for our fuel line to get here. It's just some 6AN line, and then I'm just gonna run it from the tank underneath the car, run it along this frame rail up, and then to the injectors. Kinda sucks because the fuel line is supposed to go on this side, so it's gonna have to run all the way up and over like this, but oh well. Steady progress with the rig, so that's good. Any progress is progress. All right, so remember how I told you guys that there was a thing from Chase Bays that I wanted to buy, but it was like $400 and I was already over my monthly budget for car parts? Well, I got paid early, so I was able to buy it. So in this bag is basically just like brake line relocation lines, and then this is a brake proportioning valve, or however you set the brake bias, front to rear. So we gotta install it on this bad boy so that I can stop, because stopping is good. Probably would have been a lot easier to install this with the engine still out, but whatever. So here's the thing. We need to put it underneath the brake fluid reservoir. Oh, it's cool looking. So there's that in there. So you turn this little knob here, and then that'll send, you know, more pressure or brake like clamping force to the front or the rear, which is kind of cool to have. I'm gonna leave it loosey-goosey in there for now until I get the lines all set, but looks cool. So then this long brake line runs across the engine bay and then goes out to the passenger side. So everything for the most part is loosely installed. So we got this brake line that will go down to this brake line right here. So this one right here. Then from the master cylinder down into this guy right here. And then this guy goes out to the brakes. And then this long guy over here goes across the engine bay and over to that side. And yeah, I think that's it. This valve turns, bada bing, bada boom. We still got to take off this reservoir to make like our clutch feed adapter. But otherwise, cool. I could fix it up and make it pretty later because I have to pull the engine back out anyway. But yeah, we'll be able to stop, so that'll be cool. This line seems way too long, but maybe I'll just have to route it a little bit better. Run fuel lines up to the engine, and then maybe we'll try to start this thing really quick just to see if it fires, and then we know we got a runner. All right, so we got some fuel line. We got this fuel line here. It's just Amazon freaking Evil Energy braided 6AN fuel line. So the plan is we're gonna run it here and then we're gonna run it back, but we gotta take off the hard lines that are typically on an E30. That would be nice to use these hard lines, but they were cut. So we're just gonna take them off. So let me take these off. I'm not gonna film it because it's just gonna be me laying underneath the car. I'll report back. Never mind, actually, I lied. I can reuse those hard lines. The one over there that's cut, don't know what it's for, but it's not for fuel. Or maybe it is, I don't know, but we're not gonna use that one. There were two other hard lines and then there's another brake line, so I'm just gonna run it down here to these hard lines that come up into the bay. And then this will just wrap around, come onto the fuel rail. Bada bing, bada boom. So there you have it, we just cut it. Bada bing, bada boom. Is it a little too long? Yes. Can we cut it shorter later? Yes. Once we can kind of get an idea of how we want to route everything. But everything, hopefully, is very temporary. I guess while we're at it, let's plug in everything up here so we can kind of organize ourselves a little bit better. And up and around. Oh yeah, we can take off so much of this. We can probably take off, I don't know, 6 inches? 6 inches is a lot. I mean, that's big. 6 inches is huge. All right, fellas, let's be a little bit more realistic here, huh? How about right there? Don't do this way. Like I said, don't do it that way. Hose clamp on it, Also from Amazon. Race car built by Walmart and Amazon. Fuel line ran just goes right down here underneath the intake manifold and down there. I know it kind of sucks because it has to like wrap around like this because the fuel rail is at the front. Wonder if you could flip the injector rail. I don't know though. It'd be kind of nice for it just to come up here and then boom. But I don't know if you can just flip the injector rail like that. You might be able to, but I'm not gonna do it, so. The time has come. It is time to see if this vehicular monstrosity cranks over. Not runs yet, but turns over. Let's freaking do it, man! I'm gonna flip a switch and press a button, and hopefully we hear the starter engage the flywheel. Please, Lord, let it happen. On everything that I love, baby Jesus, baby Gronk. Let's do it. Are we ready? Let's go! What? Yes, dude. Yes. No way. Dude, yes. No way, man. No way. This thing's running. This thing's gonna run. It's a runner. She's a runner. All right, battery died, but that's okay. Let's go! She freaking cranks, baby! Let's go! Come on! Oh, I'm hyped! I'm hyped! Dude, I just gotta finish up the fueling system and we could try to freaking get this thing to run and put oil in it and put the throttle body on it and make sure all the wiring's good and a bunch of other stuff, but we could, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Oh yeah, I'm so pumped, dude. I'm so amped up. No way, dude. Oh, this sounds sick. The starter sounds sick! Yes, man! Yeah! All right, so last night we got this thing to crank. So now it's time to see if we can get it to run. So here's what we got going on in the interior. I know it's absolutely diabolical in here, but just trust the process, all right? We now have the ECU connected and we now have a wire to the key on. So that should cycle and prime our fuel pump. Very temporary, just trust me, okay? So in theory, when I flip this switch, we get power to the entire car. And then when I flip this switch here, that should tell our ECU that, hey, it's time to come alive. So I should get power to the fuel pump. So let's see. Nothing. There are some grounds over here that do need to be grounded, so that could be it. So here's the situation. My sketchy wiring job is not doing the trick. I said that this was very temporary, and I meant it, and I was trying to see if we had power to the ECU. So when we flip this switch, the OBD2 port, sensor, whatever you want to call it, should turn on. Then we flip this switch, it should turn on, but it's not. So what I need to do is actually sit down and go through all this and make it look really nice. So get ready for a time lapse because I don't want to have to explain exactly what I'm doing. Time lapse time, ready now. All right, so we're making progress over here. The wiring is a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. Still not great, but you know, we'll get that when we do like the final assembly. So here's kind of like the situation that's going on. I know it looks absolutely crazy, but we have the key on and 12 volt. And then this is the 12 volt that powers on the ECU. So if we flip it, boom, ECU is alive. Now I have this OBD2 scanner hooked up to the OBD2 port. So when I turn on this switch that tells that the key is in like accessory mode, OBD2 port thingy should turn on. So let's see. Boom. So that means we heard the throttle body align. We have power to the ECU. Everything's good. Now the real test will be if I hit the crank button, will the OBD2 read crank signal? Will it pick up and recognize that the engine is cranking? Let's find out. So we're gonna go over here in the OBD2, go over here, and then we're gonna, wait for it to boot up, and then we're gonna go to engine RPM, boom. And I'm gonna hit this button, and we should see crank signal. So it should say like 200 or something. So let's see. Okay, here we go. We're hitting the button. So we got crank signal, baby, so that's good. Nice, dude. Let's go, let's go. So now, the only thing that is a little confusing is the fuel pump is not priming when I turn the key on, but it could be just the wiring that I have to the fuel pump. It might not be perfectly grounded, but what I'm gonna do, I took off the turbo manifold because, I'm gonna test this car NA. So I have a Mark 6 header right there that originally came off this engine. So I'm gonna put the Mark 6 header on and put the gasket and everything on. And then while I'm cranking it, I'm gonna spritz just a little bit, just a smidgems of starting fluid, just to see if we're gonna fire, just to see. I'm curious. I want to know. What's the worst that could happen? Everything's connected on the engine. All the connections are connected. We got brandy new knock sensors. It's grounded. So let's find out. Put the gasket on. Look at that. Beautiful. Now we're gonna put our header on. There's probably like a super important torque sequence, but we're not gonna follow that, sorry. I put the exhaust manifold on, the header, whatever you wanna call it, and I just spritzed a little bit, just a smidgems of starting fluid into the intake manifold. Just kinda curious what's gonna happen. So let's, we got oil, so let's see what happens, I guess. Could be really awesome or it could be really terrible, so I don't know. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. Okay, there's something. Okay, so we just blew oil all over the place, but no freaking way. There's oil everywhere. I don't even care. There's oil everywhere. I don't even care. That was fucking awesome. Did you guys hear that? It ran. What? Let's freaking go, dude! Yes! Let's go. I would love to try it again, but there's oil everywhere. So, gonna have to figure out why that happened. But, yeah, so cool. I have a sneaking suspicion it came from there. There's a lack of a bolt there, so I wonder if the bolt will just plug that up really quick. But, yeah, let's freaking go, dude. It runs. Kinda, not yet, but like, we know that it's got spark if it pops off a starting fluid. And, insane, awesome, sick. The only thing still, the fuel pump still does not prime. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure why, but we'll figure it out. This is a win. This is a win for Team Brett, dude. Let's go. Team 07K Swap E30. Let's freaking go, dude. Gosh. Oh, it stinks in here. But no way, man. I'm gonna ride that high for the rest of the week. But we do need to figure out why the fuel pump isn't priming, so let's figure that out soon. I think we're gonna end the video off there because it's ending off on a high note in comparison to our last video. Our last video, we ended off on a very low note. We were very disappointed in how things went, but this time around, we got a major W, other than all the oil on the ground. But we'll figure that out. Anyway, this whole thing, now that we know that it like kind of runs, we got to pull this engine back out because we got the adapter for the ZF transmission, but we'll do that in the next video because we're going to try to do shorter videos, 15, 20 minutes. I posted an hour-long video of drifting. And it did horrible. So noted. People don't want to watch an hour of me. That's fine. I understand. Now I know. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm super hyped that this thing runs. And we need to get the ZF on, and then like we don't have much to do outside of that. Get the ZF on, get the freaking drive shaft, get like a custom drive shaft made, and then we can try to test drive this thing maybe. Obviously there's a lot to do, but like in the grand scheme of things, there's not much. But so cool that this $200 freaking junkyard engine runs. Very briefly, but it runs. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of the 5-cylinder swapped E30, please subscribe, like the video, do the things. If you've watched this far, comment 07K go vroom if you watched the whole video. I don't know. I was trying to think of something funny and cool, but that's all I got. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. See y'all later. Have a great night. Goodbye. I love you.